Wow. We're back, dude. We haven't done one of these since November, but me and Sheridan, we
Yeah, at least you guys did one without.
we got back in the business with an NFL one, which doesn't really fit the theme, but
November? We
yeah.
didn't do one all December?
I don't think so.
Are you sure?
Positive, because we had like finals and then like it was like winter break and then like we never did it and then like UFC ended.
Oh, yeah.
And please take a picture of Chai. We have our dog as a live studio audience member right now. She's kind of like the director, producer right now. She's like, yes, everything's good. And
you can't see her.
Dang it. But I'll pop a picture of her. Cammy will love that.
So funny.
Chi being such a good girl. Wow.
Such a good girl. She's just watching us from the couch.
I know. I was going through UFC like the first few fights and I was like first few fight nights, and I was like, dude, I don't know. This doesn't look that great. And then all of a sudden, look at it deeper, look further into the year, you hit UFC 299, bam. I think that 2024, bro, at least this like first half after you get past January, maybe early February.
Who's in 299?
It's looking real fire. UFC 299, Bianca? Oh, you want to know what's UFC 299, Bianca?
Yeah, I want to know.
Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Vera. Dustin Poirier versus BDS, Benoit Saint-Denis. Curtis Blades versus my boy, Jailton Almeida.
So this is what you were talking about yesterday.
Gilbert Burns versus Jack Della Maddalena. And Kevin Holland versus Michael Venom Page, who it will be his UFC debut. It's going to be crazy.
This is savage, yeah.
It's going to be absolutely insane. Gamrot versus RDA, Pedro Munoz versus Kyler Phillips, Song Yadong versus Piotr Jan.
And that's the prelims?
Karine Silva versus Laura Murphy. Oh, Jesus. And then Michelle Picheda versus Michal Oleksiejczuk. Crazy.
I always
fights.
think that's a girl.
Who?
Michelle Picheda.
Michelle Picheda?
I always think when you say that name that it's a girl fight.
Yeah.
Sorry, Michelle.
What's that one? I forget. There's one guy that I say every single time that you think it's a girl.
Oh, yeah. It's like Rosa.
Stella Rosa.
I don't remember.
I'm just so happy to be back doing this. In the UFC, it's going to be crazy wild this year, but I have compiled a episode show in less than 30 minutes, but I've been thinking about a couple topics that I've been wanting to talk about for like probably two weeks now, and now we have amazing topics since the UFC 299 added BDS versus Poirier, which is crazy, and then UFC 300 added Arman and Charles Dubronx Oliveira.
What's crazy is that it's UFC 300. Like,
milestone.
We've been doing this since like UFC, like 240? I don't even know. We'd have to look back.
No, it's
maybe not 240.
Might have.
Maybe like 250.
Might have been though.
I mean,
we started this in like 2020. It's 2024 now. Is that crazy? Whoa.
That's so weird that COVID was like that long
ago.
ago.
4 years. 3 years.
3 years.
Right?
Yeah, 3. That's crazy. So yeah, but that's like weird to see a 300. Like,
I know the logos is interesting to me, but I am just
logo.
What do we start with here, dude?
Yeah, you tell me. What do we start with, sir?
What was one thing I did want to mention?
I'm just staring at Chi Chi because she's staring at us talking. She's like,
You're
why do they have lights
dude.
on you?
Making this very uncomfortable. Girl.
She's just staring at us.
Wow. But I have multiple topics that we need to get into, all right?
How long are you shooting for?
I think try to keep it under a main event, 25.
Okay, maybe. That's not going to happen.
Maybe. First of all, I think that what we do need to do is get into favorite moment from last year. Was there anything that stuck out to you from last year that we watched?
No, in particular. There's not anything that really is like sticking out at me.
Yeah.
I feel like you and I kind of talked about this by ourselves.
You mean when I made you watch every single fight this year? There's not a single.
You didn't make me. I wanted to, but towards the end, towards
just
the
online
last,
shops the entire time.
Honestly, the last 6 months of the UFC, I can't. Yeah, I just couldn't watch it that much.
I don't even remember Oh,
You don't remember what?
like, what were the last few fights of the year? We don't even remember.
There was that big one with
Oh, Colby.
Colby, yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
What a disappointment.
I know. Have we not talked about that?
No, the last fights we watched were the Royval
Yeah.
and
Well, that was crazy. Colby's seriously the worst, and I hate him, and that just proved my point because he's such a baby.
He's done.
What do you mean he's done? He retired?
Who's gonna fight after that?
Oh. Yeah, I know. But I just thought it was so funny when Joe Rogan was like, asked him a question or whatever. And he deflects it. And the first thing he's like, I just want to thank the first responders. And it's like, you're so annoying. Like, no one cares.
It almost seems like the universe in a weird way, like, works itself out sometimes. What is Chai is looking at the ring light reflection in the window, and she's mesmerized right now. I wish we had a live feed cam on her because she would be.
That is so funny. Oh my God! But
Beautiful
no, literally,
girl. Beautiful girl.
Oh yeah, but no, he's just an idiot, and I'm so glad he lost. And I think
I slaved over an Oregon State post for him, bro. But it was like
that.
It's all good practice.
Look at all that dust on our UFC bobblehead. That means we're
UFC
literally
bobblehead.
knocking the dust off of it because that's how long it's been since we've filmed.
And my computer sounds like it's about to take off right now. Okay. You know what Kellan's craziest moment was?
Yeah, what's your favorite or crazy?
Anshul Jubli was fighting Mike Breeden. And he was pretty much beating Mike Breeden. But Anshul never like utilized his great ground game ability, which he used to take out his dude in the Contender Series or like that Asian tournament thing. I forget who exactly he fought, bro. It was that one kickboxer, I think. They got a sick knockout, but I think he was like a Thai guy. But Mike Breeden, bro, he started barking at him.
Don't ever do that.
Bro, he literally started barking at Anshul, and then he starts landing clean shots, and he knocks his ass out.
Okay, don't do that.
Wait, what is that from that makes you cringe?
I don't know.
Wait, the guy from fucking what is that show? Oh no.
What?
Squid Game show where he's like
Wait, yeah.
The weird guy that like vomits or whatever in his mouth.
And then he did a TikTok and they were like, "Oh, show who's here." And they were like showing the camera around. She can sit on my lap. Okay. Come here. They were like showing the camera and they like introduced the guy. Oh gosh. And
wow, girl, wow.
Hello.
Famous. She loves kisses. Chi loves to kiss.
Sadly, we don't love to kiss her back
because
she
doxy breath.
Poo eater.
No, but the one dude that was doing like the honeycomb challenge on the Squid Games, and he's the one that vomits all the time. When they were doing the premiere of the finale, they did like a TikTok of him, and he like introduced himself by like barking.
Oh, this person's here, this person's here, and then he goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. And it was so weird because he's like so like innocent.
I know.
Okay, you should calm down.
Okay,
lay
girl.
down, okay?
Wow, we feel so lucky to have you in studio.
Wow.
You know how long it took to book you, bro?
She's very expensive to get.
I know. Lots of treats, lots of bribing to get her up here. She's a class A. She's like A-lister. Wow.
Oh, I hope that picked it up.
Words into the mic.
Oh, it's the sniffles. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So that was Mike Breeden. My fighter of the year, low key. We're just gonna give it to him just because like I feel like so many people hated on him. We're giving it to Jack Della Maddalena because I freaking love that guy. All right. But let's start this sucker off by I was going through and I was compiling my most badass fights to kick off the year, but my criteria was not obvious fights. I like went through like pretty much the first 6 fight cards and was like looking through some of the prelim ones that really like caught my eye because obviously when you get to like Ilia Topuria versus Alexander Volkanovski, those fights are absolutely cracked out of their mind. But I put together a list of I think 5 fights, and then I put a couple honorable mentions that happen to be on that same card. And we'll get into this. Chai, do you have any of your favorite fights that you look through?
Well, when you get very rowdy, she likes to bark back. When you're getting excited for fights.
She does. She gets very scared. Like when I got up and screamed when Alex Pereira knocked out freaking Israel Adesanya, she thought that there was a fireworks show outside.
Yeah, she freaks out.
It's okay, Gorilla. You're beautiful. Okay. Most badass fights going into the 2024, all right?
Okay.
The first one, it is taking place this next week at UFC 297. I'm going with not Charles Woodson, Sean Woodson versus Charles Jourdain. And I think that these are two of the better 145ers. This is going to be in Canada, and I think this is a great opportunity for Charles Jourdain to just keep it freaking rolling, baby, because everybody thought the Ricardo Ramos fight was going to be kind of a striking fest. He goes in there and he gets a submission. So Charles Jourdain is becoming more and more well-rounded. He's becoming a serious issue at 145 pounds just because of how he can pretty much stand with anybody on the feet. He had a little bit of a hiccup there against Nathaniel Wood because he just kept getting tripped all the time. But I think against Sean Woodson, he's really going to be able to utilize his skill set. He's gonna have a good opportunity to just like show a well-rounded performance because Sean might give him a little bit of trouble just because he's like freaking Kevin Durant at 145 pounds with his reach. So it could be a little tougher for Charles to get in there and start landing shots. But the dude just looks so good. I mean, when he fought what's his face, Butt Scooter Crone Gracie, he looks so good piecing combinations together. That fight I feel like got crapped on so much, but Charles's performance, he looks so clean in there. And then against like Groovy Lando Venata, he got a good dub. And Nathaniel Wood, he was still fighting really well. He fought really good against Shane Burgos. I think it could honestly be Charles Jourdain's year this year. Climb the rankings a little bit, get in there against a tougher guy. And because he's honestly, I see him on UFC 297, I don't see him on the pay-per-view main card. It's a little bit of a light pay-per-view, if I'm like being kind of nice, I feel like.
For 300?
No, for UFC 297. Strickland versus Duplessis.
Oh. Because
the main card, the main event, it really carries it. Like the hype for Strickland versus Duplessis is crazy. No, exactly.
That's probably why.
Exactly. And it also, they pretty much, I feel like, took a bunch of fights and then just like backlogged them so they could stack 299 and 300.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, they're not dummies.
No. Dana's certainly not a dummy with the business he's been doing as of late, dude. It is crazy. But yeah, it's kind of like Arnold Allen versus Movsar Valuev is pretty good. Chris Curtis, Andre Barrio, Mike Malott versus Neil Magny, Raquel Pennington, Myra Bueno Silva. Like, are you gonna really convince people to pay $90 for that? It's tough.
90 now.
It's like $89, $99 probably.
Dude, it used to be like. I thought it used to be like 60. Then it went up to like 80.
Yeah, I feel like it went up like $10 every year.
Yeah.
For the past few years.
That's so ridiculous.
It's fucking crazy, dude.
As if he's not making enough money.
We're fine at $79.99.
I feel like he's not really paying the fighters anymore than they were a few years ago.
No.
Like they probably get like cost of living increases, but they probably don't make like a ton more.
No.
There's no way they're still only making like 30
The main
grand.
dudes make a lot of money.
Yeah, but like I thought you only get like what, 30 grand a fight or something like that?
Some of them, yeah.
But there should be more than that now. Show.
Yeah, it should be. I don't know though. With inflation, they might be taking it into consideration.
Yeah, I just feel like with him upcharging that much now for pay-per-views, they should be getting paid better.
Yeah. All right. The next fight that I have on here is Natalia Silva versus Viviane Araujo. All right. This is by far Natalia Silva's best opponent to date. And I really do believe that Natalia Silva, this is going to be her year at 125 pounds, bro. No girl can touch her. When we get a freaking contender that we're like, oh my God, this girl's so good, blah, blah, blah. It always seems like they always falter when they get put into the main juice against the best girls in the world. But you know what's different about Natalia Silva?
What?
I could honestly say that she has a better skill set than some of the girls in the top of that division, all right, bro? But it is going to be tough. You got to fight a girl like Erin Blanchfield to win. You got to fight a girl like Manon Fior. So there are some really good, obviously, women fighters at 125 pounds. But in terms of just all-around skill set, dude, it doesn't get much better than Natalia Silva. She put it on, Andrea Lee. It was bad. She pretty much is demolished. It hasn't even been close. Her closest fight was probably Teresa Bleda, and that was like just because she kept shooting a whole bunch, and then Natalia figured it out because of her fight IQ, and then landed a freaking knee in her face when she shot for a takedown. So I'm looking forward to that fight just because Araujo could match her kind of strength just because she's pretty freaking yoked. So that'll be a good fight. I want to see like grappling transitions in there. Striking, I always give it to Natalia. Then, and that's on the Dolidze versus Imavov card. And then at UFC 298, my honorable mention is Amanda Lemos versus Tatiana Suarez, just because Tatiana Suarez, she looks like she's going to be the 115-pound title contender here soon. But Amanda Lemos, bro, any moment, she can land a right hand and change the complexion of an entire fight. But the fight on there that I'm really looking forward to is Ikram Aliskerov versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Just because I think that Ikram doesn't think that anybody can beat him right now, and neither does Fluffy Hernandez. And both of these guys have insane ground games, and both are pretty competent on the feet. I think that Ikram's probably a little bit of a cleaner striker, more known for his striking. But if it goes to the ground at all, like Fluffy can hold his own, he could get a submission, and he has insane cardio. And I don't know. I feel like he might be able to withstand some adversity in the beginning of that fight and then find a way to just kind of like grind it out and maybe get a late submission because he's so scrappy, and I feel like he's a really slept on 185er. Then the next one is at Mexico City. Mexico City card actually is fucking crazy, bro. Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi.
We should go to that one.
Bro, dude.
When is it?
I think February something.
Oh, so like next month in Mexico City?
Yeah, let me see.
If it's in March, we should go for your birthday or
something. It might be March 2nd. No, is it?
You tell me. Because then we can see my dad. He doesn't live far from Mexico City.
I remember when the 49ers went to Mexico City and a bunch of them got like a stomach problem from drinking the water.
That's...
February 24th.
It's kind of...
That's pushing it tight.
And it's probably really expensive to get tickets, you think?
Probably, yeah.
We could look into that.
Crazy. Got my passport now, though. Game changer.
Yeah.
But the two fights that I have on here, though, most badass, is Manuel Torres versus Chris Duncan, dude. Okay, the main reason why I picked this one is because Manuel Torres seems to be knocking out everybody, bro, with his elbows in his hands. He beat Frank Camacho, and was it Nicolas Mata or whatever? He had a nasty, was it like a spinning elbow or like I forget what kind of elbow he threw, but he's a nasty striker, bro. And what I really love about Chris Duncan is that he fought Yanal Ashmouz in his last fight, and Yanal Ashmouz, he went in there and I think Yanal Ashmouz beat Sam Patterson via knockout. And Yanal just could not get anything going on Chris Duncan just because he's managed his distance really well and has a freaking rock solid chin and just kind of marches forward all the time. So I think it's going to be an interesting clash of styles because Chris Duncan seems to like not go down at all, and he seems to be really hard to hit. Whereas Manuel Torres is like an insanely technical striker who always seems to find the target. So it's going to be sweet to see somebody put the pace on Manuel Torres because after watching a couple of these fights, I can't imagine that a bunch of guys at 155 pounds are going to be like, I want to stalk you down and try to outstrike you because he has legit knockout power. So I feel like people will be hesitant. But I think Chris Duncan might give him a run for his money. But at the end of the day, in front of the Mexico City fans, Manuel Torres being a Mexican himself, it's kind of hard for me to bet against him in that fight.
Yeah.
Home city, bro. I feel like a crazy knockout could be coming. But Chris Duncan, interesting fighter. And then Daniel Zellhuber versus Francisco Prado got announced for that as well. As we know, the golden boy, Daniel Zellhuber, is the freaking man coming off a good dub over Christos Giagos. But as we know, our freaking Argentinian man, Francisco Prado, I really think that him and Esteban Ribovics are like the guys, and Francisco Prado, bro, I just think that he brings a lot of skills to the table in terms of ground game, but also is great head movement on his feet, doesn't get hit a lot, and has knockout power like we saw against one of the Azaitar brothers, I'm pretty sure. So that's that one. And then the last one, all right, is Benoit Saint-Denis versus Dustin the Diamond Poirier. You couldn't honestly make a sicker fight than this besides Ilia Topuria versus Alexander Volkanovski.
I'm surprised Connor's not on that with With Michael?
It's not 100% official yet, that fight. They haven't announced it.
Really? So he just announced it.
Can I ask you something?
Huh.
Right now. Does it make sense for them to fight at 185 pounds?
Not at 185, no.
That's what Conor wants it to be at.
Why?
Is he trolling? I don't know. But if it actually happens at 185 pounds, that is honestly the most bullshit fucking thing ever.
Why?
It should be at 170 pounds at least.
Why is it bullshit?
Just because, bro.
I feel like they both be so like gassed. Honestly, I feel like they wouldn't have any stamina. It will be 2
minutes and 30 seconds of craziness. And then after that, they'll be like...
No, literally. They'll be so tired. Exactly. So they normally fight at 155, right? And they're jumping up 30 pounds.
Just because Conor wants everybody to believe he's so big, bro.
I mean, he's definitely gained some weight, but I wouldn't say it's all muscle.
No, Michael's just as big as him.
So why don't they do it at 170?
Conor's trolling. But I'm just saying, if that actually does happen, it's stupid. And also, I'm not really even looking forward to that fight that much.
Really? I am.
Both cats are out of their prime. I mean, I think Michael's great.
Yeah.
But he's like 37. He's not like a spring chicken, dude.
I know, but he's still really good and
fun
to. They're both really
awesome.
fun to watch.
But Conor, it's like, oh my god, all right. I feel like everybody's like Conor coming back. Conor, it's like, dude,
They said that his last fight too, come back Conor, and he's definitely Woods not. His like, oh, everyone thinks he's gonna go back to the way he was before he had kids. Like, he's not ever gonna be that Conor.
No.
Again.
I don't know, man. I'm not super jazzed for Conor's comeback. I think a lot of people are. We can live without Conor. You want to know why? Because we have fucking sick-ass cards coming up.
Yeah.
Sick fights. Amazing fighters. So I just don't really care that much if Conor comes back or not.
He's on that. But that's mostly because I don't know. I just think he's entertaining. Like,
yes.
I don't like Colby. And I know you kind of would compare Colby and Conor, like, they're like bad guy persona. But I think Conor's way better of a person.
Conor did it first. Conor's the best.
He's like the OG. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Colby's just a mimicker.
Yeah. No, but one thing that I did actually want to mention, we're definitely going to go over 25 minutes here. But
what did I say?
One thing I did want to mention is that in the lead up to the Colby fight, if you go back and watch a bunch of the interactions him and Leon had, like, Colby's body language was a little dicey. Every time Leon tried to get close to him, Colby stood back. Every time Leon like tried to do something to intimidate Colby,
have you seen him?
Colby was like not having it, man. And it was really interesting. I'm like, this is interesting. Like, Colby sometimes is like this against Kamaru. Like, he just wants to get in there and fight. He's not really.
Do you think he had like a secret injury that he was like?
No, in the beginning of the fight, I'm pretty sure he like kicked Leon's elbow or something and broke his foot.
Yeah, but I don't care. He's still.
You got to show up after saying stuff
after
like that.
all that, like, fight with a broken foot.
He's fought with a broken jaw before. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and that seems way worse. Ugh, the thought of that.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
He's just weird.
That's what I get. I bring it up because that's what I get with Conor now.
A little timid.
Conor doesn't talk the same on the mic, and he seems a little more timid.
But at least he doesn't talk the same, so it's a little bit better. Like, Colby was all talk, so much talk, like horrible things that like people tried to cancel him for, and he still couldn't even back it up. So
yeah, I know, it's ridiculous. It's an insanely fucking disappointment of a year cap, end of the year fight.
Yeah, but I love that. I'm so glad it went horribly.
Universe works itself out. Colby's not supposed to win,
and you weren't supposed to make that post, so I'm glad that OSU didn't get a canceling on either.
That was a fucking roast. Like,
well,
Bianca's quick with it. All right, like I said, Benoit versus Dustin Poirier is the most badass fight that you could possibly make at the moment, outside of a crazy title fight like Ilia Topuria and Alexander Volkanovski. Now, what information have we gathered? Is that at UFC 300, Arman Tsarukyan versus Charles DuBronx Oliveira, that's going to be a ridiculous fight. Absolutely crazy. Mm-hmm. They have marked that as the number one contender fight. But I offer you this, guys. Okay? If Benoit Saint-Denis goes out there and chokes out or head kicks or does something absurdly dominant over Dustin Poirier, who is pretty much, like, without being champion, owned that division low-key, how do you deny Benoit a title shot? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I think that he can go in there and snatch that with a crazy finish, just because the guy has the skill set to beat the dude at the top, who is Islam Makhachev. And he's also, like, been on record saying that these dudes are cheaters, that these dudes are using steroids, all right?
That's crazy.
That is a crazy thing.
That's crazy.
The amount of craziness that would go down if they had a title fight like that in Saudi Arabia or something crazy would be ridiculous, with all the French people going in there. Everything's close. The atmosphere would be ridiculous. And also, Islam Makhachev, he needs a new opponent, bro. He wants to fight the winner of Arman versus Charles Oliveira, because Charles Oliveira brings in a bunch of numbers and it's a favorable matchup for him. Arman Tsarukyan, he's already beat him in the past and he can use that against him. Also, I feel like he feels pretty confident against him, even though Arman Tsarukyan does present a style that is an issue. But Benoit Saint-Denis is just a completely different animal, man. You have to absolutely snipe and pink miss this guy to get him out of there, because he is never going to go away. In his fight against Zaleski dos Santos, I will never forget this fight for as long as I live. That fight should have been stopped by that referee on 4 or 5 separate occasions. And somehow he made a fight out of it and was taking Zaleski dos Santos down and rocking him towards the end of the fight, and still made it competitive.
Like, literally.
Somehow. How the hell is that even possible?
Almost won, low-key.
No, like, if you look at it.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I mean, ridiculous.
Didn't the ref literally get fired?
Denis said, "Get the hell out of here, dude. Yeah. You're not doing another fight
so
today."
Embarrassing. Yeah. Today. Did he's still in the UFC?
Oh, no. Oh. I forget that cat's name. It was like Vyacheslav.
He's like, "You're done for today. You can come back next Saturday." I don't know.
Yeah. Never again. That guy lost his license, bro.
That sucks for him, but also because it's like, I honestly feel for the refs, because they also probably, you never want to stop it too early, because then you're pissing off an entire crowd and Dana White. Like,
no, the thing is, everybody was on board with the stoppage idea.
But he's probably not he probably can't hear them saying, like, you know, like, we can hear Michael or DC Cormier or whatever when he's like, "Oh, we should stop," or like Joe Rogan saying something, but like, they're saying it into a mic so we can hear it on the TV. But if he's like fully in the ring, can he really hear them saying that? Probably not.
No.
So
it was easier when there was no fans, probably.
Yeah, that's true. So he probably couldn't hear very well if they were like, stop it, or something.
I'm just laying it out there to piggyback off what you're saying. Is if there was a guy that happened to, it's probably best that it was to a French Special Forces military guy that can, like, has the mental capacity to, like, withstand more damage than almost 100% of the population
Maybe
can
that's
withstand.
Also not to back this ref, because it was a horrible
We're not
call.
defending this guy at all.
Like, he's seriously, I'm glad he lost his job, because it was so bad. But like, also maybe that was also something in his head. Like, I don't want to piss this guy off, because, you know, sometimes the guys will be like, I could have kept going, like, I'm good.
No, that's probably always in the back of their mind.
Like, they're probably thinking like, he's probably good enough, you know, like, to keep going. Even though it should have been stopped at least on the second or third time. Mm-hmm. There was like about 5 occasions.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
But Benoit Saint-Denis is the future lightweight champion of the UFC.
And that is without a doubt. Number one fan of Benoit.
I am. After I saw that fight, I'm like, this is an undeniable talent. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Benoit Saint-Denis for president. So, that's...
Of France.
No, dude, we need him here, bro. So yeah, can Benoit Saint-Denis steal a title shot? Abso-freaking-lutely, I think he can. Going to this.
So how many points do we have in this episode? Just curious. No, I'm not even saying that with like because of time, but I'm just curious. Like, what else are we talking about?
Just a few more.
Because I never know. I think I should start going over the notes before we start this because
Bro,
I never
why do you have to roast me so hard?
I just never see what we're doing or know about it till we're recording, and I feel like I kind of just have to jump in wherever I can. But if I saw the game plan, maybe I could be like, oh, I could say something in there, you know?
No, that's good. Well, if I came up with this 30 minutes before, I definitely would have filled you in.
So what is our next segment? How many segments?
The other things I just want to say really quickly is just just the two guys that I really want to watch this weekend. And then a guy that isn't being talked about enough. And then which championship bouts that we know about, like which guy's gonna get upset.
Okay. So we're looking at another 25 minutes, guys. We might have to break this up into a 2-parter.
And then what bouts like I want to see like having this year. And then what division might be like the strongest or weakest.
See, this is like
and then that's where I cut it.
No, I think that we need to make 2 episodes because I don't think you realized how long your 5 fights were going to take. I don't think you planned that out.
I also didn't know we would have a wiener dog join the set.
This is called like lesson planning. Like, you know, sometimes your lessons go a little bit over. Sometimes they go under and you're like, oh, I got to shorten my time.
You know how... Okay, we're just going to go.
You know how what?
We're going to go.
You know how what?
We're going to go.
You know
we're going to go. Like some podcasts go like 2 hours.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah, no, I know. But like... We're going to do it really quick.
Sure, okay, let's go.
The 2 guys that I want to watch this weekend are Farid Basharat and Joshua Van.
No, don't not talk about it more in depth just because of timing. We can always add some of this into a different episode is what I'm saying.
I know, but I'm going to do it really quick. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. Farid Basharat versus Joshua Van, bro. They're back and they're ready to rumble. I think Josh was stepping in on short notice. This man is the guy. He's the guy who's going to climb the fat flyweight ranking extremely quick. And then we got our boy Farid Basharat, who's back, who absolutely dominates everybody he fights versus Taylor Lapulis. Lapuli, I think? Lapuli? But I love Farid, and I think that he's going to maul. And him and his brother. We said this last year, though, but I think this could be the year just because bantamweight could get a little wide open here at UFC 299, depending on who wins. So, that title fight. All right. That's all I have to say for that. Those are the 2 cats that you got to look out for. Now, really quick. This is a quick segment. Bianca, I cannot emphasize enough how freaking quick this is going to be.
That's not what I want you to do. I don't want you to shorten it for... just because this is relevant to like our first podcast of the year. Going into 2024. To me, there's 2 guys that are not being talked about nearly enough going into the 2024 season, and I will present them to you right now, all right? The first guy will be on the UFC 297 card, and it is fitting that it is in Canada because this man is Canadian, and he might actually be the most slept-on welterweight prospect right now, and that is... proper Mike Malott, all right? I think that this guy, he can submit anybody, and he has legit knockout power like we saw against Mickey Gall. But I really do. We think about guys like JDS. We think about a bunch... Is his real name Proper?
No, what's his nickname, dumbass?
I like that name, actually.
Proper Mike Malott? No, it's
sick. Yeah, that's kind of a cool name.
He's the guy, and I really do believe that he could easily, with a crazy win over Neil Magny, could just... insert himself into the conversation and become a mainstay like guys because like we think about like Ian Machado Gary and Jack Della Maddalena as some of the new up and coming stars, but I think Mike Malott might be better than these guys. Might be better, all right? And now the other guy that I think needs to get his flowers and deserves his flowers is our boy Jonathan Mar-freaking-Tinez, all right? The Dragon. This guy, I mean, let's read this off here. He beat Frankie Saenz, Thomas Almeida. He lost to his one loss to Davy Grant. He had Davy Grant out of there, basically, and then ended up getting knocked out in the second round after that. The bell saved Davy Grant, all right? He's went on to beat Zviad Lazishvili, Alejandro Perez, Vince Morales, Cub Swanson, Saeed Nurmagomedov. And then now Adrian Yanez, he kicked the legs off Adrian Yanez. This guy has the ground game to hang with anybody in the division and some, if not the best striking in the bantamweight division, all right? This dude is not being talked about nearly enough because he has all the skills to hang with anybody in the bantamweight division, okay? And I think that it's a sick time right now because when we look at Chito Vera versus Sean O'Malley, whoever wins that fight is going to shake up the division a whole lot. And actually, no matter who wins that, like, it doesn't really matter because we have a guy like Merab Dvalishvili coming in there, and he is a matchup nightmare for both of them. But who is a well-rounded enough guy to beat a guy like Merab? I think it is Jonathan Martinez because on entries, he's going to make it a whole hell of a lot harder because against Piotr Yan, sure, Merab matches up height-wise really well, just constant takedowns, dude. You're going to have to be a little bit carefuler when you have a dude such as Jonathan Martinez who can sling his leg up and slice it straight off your body or throw a knee right up the middle and knock you unconscious. So I just think that we got to give Jonathan Martinez his flowers because his resume speaks for itself despite not being the highest ranked. I believe he's number 12 in the rankings. You put him up. Beating Said Nurmagomedov just speaks for itself. That guy's a monster. Beating Adrian Yanez has been talked about as one of the up-and-coming crazy contenders in that division for multiple years now. And he handled them with ease. So he trains with Chris Gutierrez. I mean, I just have every ounce of faith that Jonathan Martinez could get in a title fight by the end of the year, depending on who they match him up with next. It's an exciting time for him. Okay, now we got Ilia versus Volk, most badass fight outside of BDS versus Dustin Poirier. We got Chito Vera versus Sean O'Malley and Dricus versus Strickland. In my personal opinion, Ilia versus Volk, like I've said on 5 occasions now, is the sickest fight. Like, that's going to be the craziest fight. No doubt in my mind that it is not going to disappoint. I just think that it's going to be way more equal than people are expecting it to be. People, I feel like, don't know who Ilia Topuria is. And also, I have to stand up for my boy Ilia Topuria because he gets so much shit, dude. Sean O'Malley calls him out, says, you're my Eddie. Paddy Pimblett talks about our boy. All I'm saying is, Ilia Topuria roasts both of those guys easily, bro. He will take down Paddy Pimblett and beat him at his own submission game. I guarantee that. And he will box the head off of Sugar Sean O'Malley if they fought. And I promise you, Sugar Sean O'Malley, he feels like he's underrated. His ground game is pretty underrated. But dude, we're talking about Ilia Topuria, who Ryan Hall, one of the best jiu-jitsu guys in the world, couldn't take him down. I mean, he just gets on top. He starts throwing ground and pound. Sugar Sean O'Malley, this is a different beast. This is an Ilia Topuria that can fight up a weight class at 155 pounds. This is not some 135 where you can bully around the octagon, all right? If you come up to 145 pounds, that's the big boy leagues. And I think that Ilia Topuria would absolutely pepper and just toy with Sugar Sean O'Malley. Sugar Sean O'Malley has a puncher's chance, sure. But what is that going, like, over like the course of time, having that one puncher's chance is not a sustainable way of having success in the UFC. We've seen it with Conor. Conor can box people up; they can't really take him down, obviously. But like when he comes in there and everybody's like, "Oh, Khabib versus Conor." Conor's got that one punch knockout power. Every round starts up on its feet. Oh yeah. Well, what happens when he can't stuff a takedown? Like, he hasn't been able to land that shot, I feel like, when people have really doubted him the most. He did it against Aldo, and he was just a better fighter than Eddie Alvarez. But when he had to go up against Khabib, when he had to go up against Dustin Poirier these last few times, he hasn't been able to land that crazy shot. It's like weird. You can't just fucking hang your hat on that every single time because guys are getting tougher and they're getting better and they're becoming just as good as strikers as you, and they're better on the ground. So I got to stick up for my boy Ilia Topuria because I really do think he's going to shock the world and beat Alexander Volkanovski. I think that Marlon Chito Vera versus Sugar Sean O'Malley could be one of the more boring UFC main events just because I think that Sugar Sean O'Malley is going to circle around the octagon the entire time. And I think that Chito Vera is going to march him down. And I think that very minimal strikes will be thrown. But hopefully I'm wrong because I don't want to pay $90 to watch that happen. So I'm just going to call that out there and just hope I get a little reverse psychology and we actually get a banger fight and somebody goes to sleep. The second one, though, I think that Dricus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland's crazy, but I think that Dricus is going to get the job done. Just because I think Dricus is the man. He's a big, strong guy. If you have a counter for every time that Joe Rogan said that guy is big, it would probably be pushing like 400 or 500 times now. Because it seems like every single time Joe talks about Dricus, it's always just how big he is. But it's facts. The guy looks like a superhero, and he's got an awkward style that gives everybody problems. Beating Robert Whittaker speaks for itself, all right? But, dude, Paulo Costa versus Robert Whittaker is going to be an insane fight on UFC 290. I forget. But that's a crazy fight that's going to happen. Yeah. Do you think that Bianca right here, dude? She likes Paddy Pimblett, and it kind of
I do like him.
You can like whoever you like. It's just can you just nah?
For some reason, I'm shook that you don't like him. He's so funny to me. I'm gonna be real.
He's funny. He seems cool, but don't pick on Ilia Topuria, all right?
So that's the main reason you don't like him.
He's not
that good.
He's not as good as people think. I feel like
you can say that.
Yeah, he's not. He's really not.
Yeah, Kellan doesn't think he's that good.
His striking's terrible, and he should have lost to Jared Gordon, and they gifted him that dub. Also, he has a chin of steel, iron.
Yeah,
but
that's
somebody's
a plus.
Somebody's gonna plunk that, and then what is that? What else
Plunk.
is he gonna hang
Someone's
his hat
gonna
on?
plunk.
They're gonna dink him. Someone's gonna dink him, and somebody's gonna sank him.
Dink and sank. I like him.
All I'm gonna say is I know that fight that he's gonna have is inevitable. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't bother me what he's doing. It's I'm not gonna be rooting for his downfall. Mm-hmm. I'm pumped. I'm cheering for him to do well. Obviously, I don't want him to do bad, but it's well, I'm just saying that I know that when he runs into the top guys, it's gonna be a serious issue. So when he does get there, I'm not gonna be oh yeah, see, I told you. It's I expected this to happen. So I'm not just
yeah. Okay, we'll see when he gets there.
Watch him just become a monster.
No, literally, happen, he could. You never know. You don't
watch it
know
happen.
Everything.
I clearly don't.
It could happen.
I don't claim to know it all, but I know some.
So now what?
Last thing. Since it's the beginning of the year, we're gonna predict. Okay. The one fight that I want to see above all.
Okay.
Do you have a matchup you want to see? Paddy Pimblett versus
Connor.
Oh yeah.
No, that wouldn't happen.
You stress me the fuck out when you play around with it so much.
Okay, fine. It's good.
There's one time when it's
honestly, it was like that for 2 seconds. I thought, not that long.
Watch all my segments that I'm gonna turn into clips just be fucked because of you.
Okay. Fuck off. 1, 2. I think
I want to see Connor versus Chandler.
Did you want to know or not?
Say it then.
Shut up.
You're really fucking trotting around the answer.
You're freaking talking.
You can talk over me.
Shut it. I think Paddy and
my.
Robert Whittaker.
Really?
If Paddy kept his weight on. I want to see Fat Paddy fight as a heavyweight.
Is Fat Paddy 200, 190?
I don't know, but I feel like I want to see him keep the weight on and fight. That would be funny.
Robert Whittaker versus Paddy Pimblett. Seal it. UFC 305.
Wait, what's Robert's weight class?
185.
Do you think? He could easily get to 185.
Robert?
No, Paddy. What is Paddy fighting?
155.
Oh yeah, he's sitting at 185.
He's 185 after a couple hours after the fight.
Literally 2 days later.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
crazy.
That's what I want to see. Paddy the fatty. But he's not really fat. I'm not calling him fat.
No, when he's fat,
it's just so funny to me that he can lose so much weight
and get shred city
and then gain it all back in 2 days. That's honestly impressive.
It's crazy. My
what's
fight.
yours?
I already mentioned our
Ilia Topuria, and if you want to do that to me, let me guess. Ilia Topuria, I think it would be Benoit and Denis. Something like that.
I do want to see Islam versus Benoit for sure. But if it's possible, can I get a?
See, you have to think about it, and you're like,
No,
come
I
on.
know.
Okay,
I know.
Say it.
John Jones versus Tom Aspinall is the one fight I want to see above all.
Really?
It's got to happen.
Really?
It's got to happen.
That's the one?
That's the one. That's the
John
only thing I
Jones
want to see.
Of everyone? John Jones.
John Jones.
John Jones.
Cha-cha.
John Jones.
Cha-cha. Cha-cha. John Jones.
I thought I just smelled garlic or something. It smelled good.
Bianca smelled like garlic the past 5 days in a row.
Okay, that's rude to say. I had truffle fries for dinner one night, like 2 days ago.
And the scroll is closing.
And all I tasted was garlic for the 2 days.
Yeah, it's disgusting. What do you guys think? 46, huh?
46 here and there.
Oh, Reacher comes out tonight. I'm fucking as big as that guy. Okay. Ready?
That's a you show. For sure. Thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, Bianca
and I hope
talks about
that you
Saltburn every day. It concerns me.
Whoa.
I'm like, are you swinging the other side or what?
That is such a lie. Swinging to the other side. Ow! If anything, it'd be you.
I've never seen it.
I know, but like, he's gay. You're not like.
I don't know. You could be gay.
But you're not even making. Ow! You really freaking headbutted me. Gave me a dead arm.
How do you feel my tricep right there?
Yeah. Okay. Soft. Okay. Are you gonna say anything?
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Like,
it's a
turn
new
off
year.
The video. Like, you're
It's a
so
new
weird.
year.
I hope you guys have a great 2024. See us in.
If the UFC's any sign of how great 2024 is gonna be, we're gonna have a good year.
This is gonna be a good year. I can feel it in my bones.
Unless the J1 or whatever COVID variant just really fucks it all up.
Stop cussing.
It's my show. All Gear No Game Graphics got your graphics needs. Signing off.
Oh yeah, is that what
I
you
have a
called
freelance graphics design company now.
it? Did you call it All Gear No Game Graphics?
Yeah, building an empire.
No way.
Yeah.
That's savage.
Yeah.
But like, you also don't just do like sports graphics. You could do any graphics.
That's why it's All Gear No Game. It's not really. I'm
Oh,
good.
That's true.
I'm
Kind
not.
of. It actually does kind of work for that. Okay. I'm sorry. This is
uh,
annoying. Bye, you guys.